Real talk, the metaphor messiah, man. I got this one. Let's go. You ever seen the morning star? Mr. Metaphor Messiah, back to show you who we are. I represent a legacy, a pothead like the 70s, a different kind of mind. They say we only speak in melodies. Legend in the game, I think I found a solution. Got a crazy kind of flow.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Dead on Dave. Now look, I see you see the title. I see you see right there the image, and I know there are a ton of Royal Rumble predictions going out right now. However, I think I am the only one doing it in Zelda ears. So I got that going for me. We have that on our side. Look, reality is the Royal Rumble every single year, no matter what, seems to have the same potential to give you the most exciting moments in all of wrestling. Now, yeah, it's true that the Rumble has lost some of its luster in recent years due to over-predictability and some very, very poor finished designs. However, this year does seem to be loaded with names, surprise potential, and it just seems like this is going to be the year where that glass ceiling could be shattered for the Royal Rumble, and we can get some moments that are frankly Royal Rumble worthy. The one hang up here is WWE seems to be doing also a nice little job of setting up a lot of real predictability and massive letdown scenarios. My nightmare scenario seems to be kind of formulating with the Undertaker winning, John Cena winning the title, and Roman Reigns winning the title. That's a nightmare scenario for me because it would essentially be reversing everything that's happened over the past 7 or 8 months with AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, all these guys being essentially just dumped into the mid-card. And that would bother me. It would bother me. So that's my nightmare scenario. But I'm hoping that none of that is going to happen. Because while I just said WWE has done a good job of setting up the potential for those massive letdowns, they've also done a really good job of putting some very, very subtle clues that maybe that's not what's going to happen at all. I think they've put some red herrings in there and also a little bit of extra. Maybe we could be going this way if you're looking in the right direction. So let's talk about first and foremost who I do not feel will be winning the Royal Rumble this year. Let's start there, and you might be a little bit surprised at some of the names. Let's kick it off. Okay, the first one should not be a surprise to anybody. Seth freaking Rollins will not be winning the Royal Rumble this year. Simply not going to happen. They've put way too much time and investment into Triple H, Seth Rollins for WrestleMania for this to be going down. Now, is it possible that Seth does win it and then maybe does a scenario where he cashes in his Royal Rumble victory earlier, wins the title, and then him and Triple H for the title at WrestleMania? Yeah, it is possible. Very contrived, and I don't think somewhere they want to go because this is a feud because of how long they've been in each other's stratosphere for a very long time. They've been built around each other for the last 2 years, essentially, that you don't really need to do that. You can just have them together, and it's going to have meaning. It's going to have focus. And because the WWE no longer believes in a singular main event, where basically the top 5 or 6 matches on any card now has to all be regarded as a main event, you don't really need to keep placating to the same type of got to have the title on the guy for it to be the main event. No, Seth Rollins and Triple H will be hyped up as a main event of WrestleMania, and no title is needed. So Seth Rollins, sorry, buddy, not winning the Royal Rumble. But who else? Some people are going to take exception to this one. Braun Strowman will not be winning the Royal Rumble. Braun Strowman has had an unbelievable good build over the past few months. He's come a long way in a very short period of time. He's not really ready yet for that main event spotlight, but they certainly are putting him in the situations to look unbelievably strong. Now, some of the things that I think that they've put out there to kind of make this the big reason why he's not going to be winning is they put him very subtly looking at certain people. They've done it a couple times now with Roman Reigns, which I do think it's possible that he and Roman Reigns could end up being a big fight at WrestleMania for the United States Championship. And if they were smart, that's the obvious way to go with it and not have Roman win the title. That's another discussion for another day, and I don't want to stab myself in the face, but I do think it's a very good possibility that Roman does not win the title and Braun and him go into a program going into WrestleMania for the U.S. Championship. But that's not the one that I have in mind. In fact, no, something very, very quickly happened the other day with Braun Strowman on Monday Night Raw that makes me think that there might be a whole nother thing going on, and it also eliminates another person from contention of winning the Royal Rumble. So while Braun Strowman will not be winning the Rumble, the reason is because he is going to be feuding with the next guy who will not be winning the Royal Rumble, and that is The Undertaker. That's right, The Undertaker. I know, everybody clean your underwear out. He seems to be the trendy pick right now. Everybody seems to be going in the direction of The Undertaker with the promos that he's been cutting on both SmackDown and Raw in recent months. He seems to be the guy that could certainly win the damn thing, and maybe some nostalgia, him and John Cena, all of these things, right? Well, here's some interesting bit of news that's been coming out of the old rumor mill. Yeah, Dave Meltzer, take it for what you want, but still, Undertaker and John Cena seem to no longer be on the table. And if that's the case, Undertaker really doesn't have a reason to be winning the damn Rumble, unless, of course, Reigns wins and Undertaker targets Reigns, and then Reigns is the guy who actually gives Undertaker his final loss at WrestleMania, which would kill people and send people into a mass hysteria unlike of anyone has ever seen. So let's not even talk about that, although I do think it's on the table. However, I think when they panned very quickly to the back with Braun Strowman looking at the Undertaker's promo, I think they gave us a very, very quick and subtle nod that this is indeed the direction that they're going. It makes a lot of sense for the Undertaker's health-wise. Yes, you might think counter to that because of how big and out of control Braun can be at times, but the reality is Braun hasn't hurt anybody. He doesn't really seem to be damaging people, and his strength and power will hide a lot of the deficiencies within the Undertaker's game at this point. Another reason why the Undertaker should not and probably will not win the Royal Rumble is reliability. They simply can't rely on the guy to be able to stay healthy until WrestleMania. So if he ends up getting hurt between now and Mania, they only lose a Braun Strowman match, not a world title match. And I think that is something that WWE will factor in, and it makes a hell of a lot of sense. Again, because of The Undertaker's presence and his history and his pedigree, he doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble to have a main event type match. And because everything's a main event now at WrestleMania, you don't need to put him in a title picture. Nightmare scenario is he does win it, and I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but we shall see. I got two more guys that I don't think are going to win, and this is the least predictable. I think you guys all knew, or most predictable, I should say. You guys all knew this was coming. You all knew who I was going to talk about, and here it is. That's right, Berg and Brock. I mean, so predictable that I'm not even giving them their own standalone transparent pictures. No, just put them together. It's fine. We all know this isn't happening. Some people do want to kind of theorize that Goldberg could win the Royal Rumble, and there might be some backlash to that, or maybe Brock goes on a rampage and wins it, and then somehow they still get Goldberg and Brock. No, look, it's almost in ink 100% WrestleMania. Bill Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, and there's a lot of rumor that this will be the final match of the night, which would be a horrible mistake, but it's a very good possibility. They've invested a lot into these two guys. It will draw, it will sell, people will be interested. It's just a reality of the situation. If Goldberg were to win the Royal Rumble, I think we will see one of the biggest booings that we've seen since Roman Reigns. It won't make sense to people. People won't get it. I don't think, especially if Goldberg comes in early, which I have a suspicion that he might. Same thing with Brock. They might be earlier than you might think. Fact is, there's a lot of older guys in this event. Not just older guys, guys who doesn't seem to have a lot of longevity within a Royal Rumble confines match. So there's a lot of guys who could fill that 29, 30, 26 and on type role. I got a feeling Brock and Goldberg could be early in causing a lot of mass destruction to a lot of the throwaway talent in the Rumble. I say that loosely, throwaway talent in the Rumble, until they eventually destroy themselves or get taken out by somebody else like a Braun Strowman. out of nowhere, those two fighting on the apron or something like that, and Braun just knocks them both over. I think Braun's going to have the most eliminations of anybody in this event, but he's not going to win. So more than likely, he's going to get eliminated by The Undertaker. All right, so those are the guys that I do not think are going to win. I do not think any of them are going to win, although I think it's possibilities that it could happen. Now let's get to the men that I believe will be winning, and this is in order of least likely to most likely. Let's get into it. Number 5 is Finn Balor. That's right, the Demon King. And you would think that the Demon King would be a little bit higher on my priority list. The reason why he's not, and he has been a pick of mine in the past, I haven't heard enough about his progression as far as health. I know he has said that he's on track for the Rumble, but I just haven't heard enough to make me believe that he actually is. So because I'm just not sure if he's healthy enough to go, I'm not going to give him too high of a likelihood of winning the thing. If he's healthy, he might be the odds-on favorite. He very well might be. Look, people love this guy. He had a very emotional title victory. People seem to be very happy with it. He's going to have a fantastic entrance if he does go into the Rumble. I mean, look, if he enters the Rumble, there's a very good chance that he wins the whole thing. I'm just not sure if he's going to be healthy enough to get in. I would love to see it. He's still one of my top picks, but because of his health problems, he is the least likely of my 5 potential winners. Who do we have at number 4? Baron Corbin, the lone wolf. And look, I so want to put this guy higher. I really did consider putting him as my number 1 guy. I did. The only problem with that is he is a guy who has been in the main event picture recently in the last month or so, but kind of the outside looking in. One way or another, more than likely, John Cena and AJ Styles completely ends at Royal Rumble. And if that's going to be the case, they both seemingly have built-in feuds to go forward. But one of those built-in feuds for John Cena is Baron Corbin. So this could make sense for Baron Corbin to win the Royal Rumble to go on and be John Cena's big opponent at WrestleMania. Look, they seem to be very high on Baron Corbin, and for a very good reason. The guy has had one of the best and fastest progressions I've seen of anybody, especially for a big man, in years. What he's done since his early days in NXT to what he's doing right now is night and day. He has got an unbelievable work ethic, great motor. He really seems to understand the ins and outs of being a heel. Yeah, his promo work needs a little bit. It needs some work. His promo stuff, a little bit of work. But he is fantastic at what he does, and he is a perfect, almost prototypical opponent for John Cena. So I think there's a lot of likelihood that he can go out and win this damn thing. There's a very good probability that Baron Corbin wins the Royal Rumble and goes on to take on John Cena. Now that would, of course, mean that John Cena beats AJ Styles, which is also kind of a weeping situation. But if it does lead to Corbin and Cena, then maybe it's all worth the squeeze. We'll see. Who's more likely than Baron Corbin, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. The Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt. Okay, look, I know what everybody's saying. How many years have we talked about Bray Wyatt finally busting out? Look, I think right now they are setting up a storyline that really is the bust-out storyline for Bray Wyatt. What the new Wyatts have done as of late with winning the title, the tag team titles, and all of that, and then imploding over the last few weeks. They're setting up not just an easy Randy versus Luke Harper or even Luke Harper versus Bray Wyatt. What they're setting up is all three entering the Royal Rumble, working as a cohesive unit early on, right? Then Luke and Randy doing the exact same thing that they have been over the last few weeks, getting in each other's grill, maybe tussling over by the apron. Bray Wyatt finally getting pissed off with the entire situation, eliminates them both, goes on to win the Royal Rumble. That is a very interesting thing that I think that people can't ignore. He's too good, he's too talented, and he's too over for him not to eventually bust out. This could be the year. Now, he is still young enough to where it's a possibility that that won't happen. But I also think that there's a very, very good possibility, strong. In fact, he's my third guy here, that he could win the whole damn thing. It could be the year for the Eater of Worlds. So who's more likely, in my book, than Bray Wyatt, than Finn Balor, than Baron Corbin? Well, we got two guys. Let's talk about them. The King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura. Come on, you guys know I'm not getting through a list without putting Shinsuke Nakamura high on that list. If you're a fan of this channel, or if you're not, well, congratulations. You just walked in to the Shinsuke Nakamura Fellatio channel. I love the guy. I think he's the best thing going in all of wrestling right now. Yes, he's lost a step over his prime years when he was in New Japan, but I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility that he can regain that going forward into WrestleMania season. He's amazing. He's a rock star. Everything about him oozes money. The way he's been positioned in NXT in particular tells me that WWE does feel that there is a huge future for Shinsuke Nakamura, and the reality is that future could be now. Now, the only drawback, the only downside is he does seem to be working to a pretty good feud with Bobby Roode going into the Royal Rumble, where he'll be taking on Bobby Roode the night before. Now, it's a match he should win. Now, most people would think that kind of precludes him from winning it. However, I beg to differ. I think he beats Bobby Roode in a feud that doesn't get fully fleshed out. He doesn't really have another built-in competitor down there in NXT, so you have him bring the NXT title up to the main roster, kind of just showing it around, sort of like what Kevin Owens did. But you have him drop the belt. You have him relinquish the title and allow for NXT to have a tournament for their WrestleMania weekend show. That would be mind-blowing. Can you imagine that we get 3 or 4 matches that all revolve around the NXT Championship at the NXT show, the NXT TakeOver, WrestleMania, whatever they're doing? That would be insanity. It also frees up Nakamura to show and establish dominance, something they've been very, very keen on doing. Even his one single loss has been with controversy. He's been unbelievably strong, and I don't think there is a better way for Shinsuke Nakamura to establish quick dominance and superiority and quick legitimacy than entering early in the Rumble, going an Iron Man route type deal, and winning the whole damn thing. It would be incredible, and it's almost a guaranteed situation that will not get booed. It's almost one of the only fucking things on this entire list that for a winner to not get booed, it would be Shinsuke Nakamura. There won't be a boo in the crowd. Will not be a boo in that crowd. This man is over as hell. People love him. There are some detractors, but not many. Shinsuke Nakamura, I think, has a very good likelihood of winning this thing, but he's not my overall favorite. There's one guy ahead of him. Let's talk about him. That's right. Samoa Joe, the guy who gave Shinsuke Nakamura, pushed Shinsuke Nakamura, and in essence got pushed by Shinsuke Nakamura to one of the best feuds of 2016. The matches they had were unbelievable. And here's the thing. This is the reason why I have both of these guys in the 1 and 2 position. They were headlining international events. In big crowds, in new venues, in new atmospheres, they trusted them to go out and grip it and rip it, and they tore the house down everywhere they went. Everybody knows the story of Samoa Joe. They all know the reasons that Samoa Joe is legit. He's a badass. He's awesome. Everything he's done in the business, from Ring of Honor to TNA, and what he most importantly has done in NXT. You can make the argument that Samoa Joe was last year's most dominant champion in wrestling. You can make that argument. My God. Absolutely incredible. And all accounts are that Samoa Joe is in line for a monster push going in as soon as he makes his appearance. He's a perfect guy to have a surprise appearance at the Royal Rumble. He's a perfect guy for it because we haven't really seen too much of him in recent weeks, just in taped matches on NXT, but we haven't seen anything live on him. He's kind of perfect to be that guy that doesn't get the promo coming into the Rumble, but people will lose their minds when he does show up. There is one great reason and one great hindrance to why he may not win. And both of that reason is AJ Styles. I think Samoa Joe's immediate future as far as the Royal Rumble is concerned is directly tied to AJ Styles. If AJ Styles is able to beat John Cena yet again and retain the title, Samoa Joe winning the Rumble makes all the sense in the world. You got to make this match happen now. You have to, this WrestleMania moment between Samoa Joe and AJ Styles needs to happen this year, no matter who's champion. It does not matter. If it's for the title, if it's not for the title, it needs to happen this year. And AJ Styles is 40 years old almost. So this has to go down. So if AJ wins, Samoa Joe's going to win this damn thing. He's going to win it because this is a perfect situation for him to make an instant impact and go right into the main event at WrestleMania with AJ Styles. And once again, because of all the WWE's posturing and promoting of everything's basically a main event, they'll be the third to last match of the night, maybe even fourth, maybe even an opening match, but it'll still be credited as a main event type situation without being a main event. So I don't mind their placement on WrestleMania, just as long as we get to see it happen. And it will tear the roof down. Look, whether you're a TNA fan or not, Samoa Joe and AJ Styles had one of the greatest rivalries in the history of freaking wrestling, man. Some of the greatest matches. Now, granted, a lot of them did happen to have the fallen angel Christopher Daniels in. How good would that be if he just got involved too? Oh, be still my heart. Not going to happen, but that would be awesome. This needs to take place. And if AJ is not the champion, well, you have a much easier route to put Samoa Joe in there with him. So Samoa Joe obviously will not be winning the Royal Rumble. So his fate is directly tied to another wrestler. However, I think that the chances and the allure of this match is strong enough to kind of push off all the nightmare scenario of John Cena winning the title again, beating AJ Styles, because this is alluring as hell. I think there's so much potential to it. So this is my guy. This is my guy as of this moment. He may not be my guy tomorrow, but he's my guy at this moment. He is my most likely guy based on all the other situations. And most of the reason why I'm picking Samoa Joe is because everybody else seems to have a different path to go for it, especially the guys that will not be winning, the guys earlier in the list. They all seem to have places that they can go. Now, there is some possibilities out there like Roman Reigns losing earlier tonight and coming in and winning the damn thing. Same thing with John Cena. It wouldn't surprise anybody. Kurt Angle's a possibility of showing up, and him winning would not be all that shocking to most people, and it would make a lot of sense there. So there are plenty of possibilities and scenarios, but based on everything that I've laid out in this video, I think that you can, and I know I'm going to get a lot of shit over this. I get it. I know, because it's kind of an out there theory and everything, and that's okay. I know it's coming. Bring it to me. I feel that I fleshed it out well enough, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed my take on this year's Royal Rumble. I'm going to give you a much more in-depth Royal Rumble preview the closer we get. This is just 2 weeks out of speculation and a little bit of boredom on my part, so I thought I'd have fun with it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys very much for joining me right here on Dead on Dave Productions. Make sure you're checking out everybody in the channel, including the creator of all my graphics, Guncannon 17 over at Iron Knight Graphics, and of course Real Talk, the Metaphor Messiah, the man of the lyricosity. He's a great hip-hop artist. Don't ignore what I just said. It was stupid. He's an amazing hip-hop artist. Go check him out. Type in Real Talk the Truth or Real Talk Metaphor Messiah. You will find him on SoundCloud, everywhere. He's everywhere. He's amazing. Go check him out. He's also on my featured channels list and in my description box. Go check him out. Thank you guys very much for joining me right here on Dead on Dave Productions. We will see you next time. Like, subscribe, and share. And as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. Keep it copious, folks. And peace.